Hi. It's not every day that you guys get to see me attempt to go live 3 fucking times in a row. Whatever, we're gonna rock with it. I'm in this place where I'm just kind of like, look, the universe is gonna give me whatever it has to give me, whenever it has to give me it. And if I sit here and judge it and I'm like, oh, things are fucked up or things aren't going the way they're supposed to go, like, it's just such fucking bullshit. It is what it is, right? We gotta rock and roll with what we have. Oh, it's good now. Okay, thank you. If you weren't on the first live, there were like all these audio problems, so now I'm here. Okay, so let's talk. So today I wanted to have a conversation with you guys to celebrate the fact that we've had our biggest cash flow month to date compared to anything that we've ever done. We've had 6-figure launches, but a lot of our programs are monthly subscription, right? Or they're monthly payment plans. And so you hear a lot of people say this, like, I had a 6-figure launch. It's unrealized, right? So it's like, those are payment plans that are going to go continuously throughout, month after month after month. And so what we've done in our business and what I teach is this element of stacking. So we've been able to put ourselves in a position where we're making revenue on a monthly basis, right? Passively from previous launches and programs. And this was a method that we committed to last year. And we've consistently shown up to fill programs with that mentality, right? And this month we hit $80,000 in cash. I've never done it before. I've never done it. And it feels so fucking good. And I didn't even realize it was happening because my husband and I, we've been trying to fill 6-figure Biz Babe. We have 10 spots left, right? Our goal and intention was 100 people in that program. And so when I get into launch mode, sometimes, like a lot of entrepreneurs, you only see the one specific objective in front of you, right? And when we were launching 6-figure Biz Babe, I felt like I was failing because it was a open cart for 3 weeks versus what we had done before, where like a bunch of people came in really quickly. And so there was a slow enrollment process. And it's so easy for us to look at our current reality and create a perception that is so fucked up. So my perception this month was like our business was falling apart. Like I thought we were failing. I thought things weren't going as well. I thought that this launch was not as successful as our previous launches. And here we are, first month of the new year, hitting the most income that we've ever hit. And like, here's what I want to tell you guys. This is not a conversation about how great Badass Business Babe is or how perfect our brand is or all the things that we're doing right. This is a conversation about, hey, look, I did this, you can do it too. I spent years feeling like what I wanted was completely unattainable and impossible, and I struggled for a really long time. And if you guys were on our webinar yesterday, I shared my heart and soul with you guys and talked about how that first year of business, I made $8,000 the entire year. That's crazy. That is absolutely crazy. Year 2, we made $187,000. Year 3, we made $500,000. And this month, the first month of 2019, we're on track to make $1 million, and my intention is 2.5, right? Unbelievable. And when you show up in this place, right, where you're setting these really scary goals and you're achieving them, the question that you end up getting asked, or I end up getting asked by a lot of people is like, well, how, right? How did you do that? How did it happen? Oh my gosh. I mean, how did it not? I think I spent a great deal of my time looking for the right strategy. And as we talked about in the webinar yesterday, strategy is just one of the 4 secrets, right? And all of you guys are asking for a link to the replay of the webinar. I'll put it in the group after this. But, here's the reality. Strategy is 25% of the 4 secrets to making 6 figures. It is 25%. It is a quarter of the big picture, right? And we get so wrapped up and obsessed with the strategy. And a lot of us are going about strategy wrong, where I bet you were probably like this, where you're looking at maybe 4 or 6 different people that you look up to, and you're trying to take bits and pieces. All my photographers on here. Hi, Lindsay. I got to reach out to you, by the way. We need to do a photo shoot in February. Thank you for reminding me. But a lot of us are looking at strategy and we're picking up on what this person is doing and that person's doing, and we're trying to implement this and we're trying to implement that. And when you're taking strategy bits and pieces from all these places, you completely fall short because you're spreading yourself thin. And when you focus on so many different strategies, you don't create a solid enough foundation in one of them. If you look at some of the most successful people in the online space, Brendan Burchard, Marie Forleo, Amy Porterfield, what are these people doing? They have one or two really great programs and they're rinsing and repeating those programs. If you look at any beautiful, successful network marketer, they have one network marketing product and they're laser focused on providing that. Everybody who's created wealth and success, it's not about doing 20 million different things. It's about doing the one or two things that actually work and doing them really, really well. Right? And when we talk about strategy, there are these components of like, well, I have to find an audience, I have to sell, right? And I have to nurture my tribe. And those are the three things, regardless of what you're selling, whether it's photography, real estate, coaching, network marketing. I don't give a fuck what you sell. Business is all the same. You need to grow your audience, you need to nurture them, and you need to know how to sell. And at the end of the day, if you don't master those three elements of your strategy, you won't have an effective strategy. So when we talk about how to do this, how do you make six figures? How do you get to that new level? What is it that you have to do? Strategy is just 25%. It is a quarter of the bigger picture. And if you're struggling in your strategy, I would really encourage you to sit down and look at those three elements: sales, growing my audience, and nurturing. Which of those three am I getting fucked up in? Which of those three am I not showing up the right way? Am I not growing my audience? Am I not nurturing them properly? Am I not selling effectively? That's it. At the end of the day, that's all strategy is, right? How do you grow your audience the right way? How do you sell to them properly? And how do you nurture them? And so that element, when I look at what got us to $80,000 months, that's just a small component of this. What's the other stuff, right? What are the other pieces? Well, number one, it's your ability to feel like you're a fucking leader and you're certain in your skill set and what you do. It could be photography, real estate, network marketing, coaching. I don't care what it is. If you have any piece of you that says, I'm not good at this, or I'm not good enough at this, or I don't feel like I'm worthy of that sale, what do you think is going to happen? You're going to repel any opportunity to receive that income. I remember when I was early on in my business, and if you guys, again, if you were on the webinar yesterday, I shared this, but I'm going to share some of it with you guys today. I started my brand, What is Perfection, and I was just blogging, and my goal was like, I just want to be a blogger. I just want to make money off of ads. I didn't know what life coaching was. I had no fucking clue, right? And my friend Jen Casey said to me, she's like, you know you're a coach, right? And I was like, what's a coach? Like, I don't understand. Like, what is that? She's like, like Tony Robbins or like, Gabby Bernstein or whatever. I'm like, oh, no, I can't. Fuck that. I can't be responsible for people's lives. But then the more it sat with me, right, the more it sunk in, it was like, oh, this makes sense. I'm just really afraid of it, right? And that's where I think a lot of people get tripped up when they have a calling or they get a download to do something brilliant in their lives or they feel the whisper. It's like, you get that idea and then you judge it and you're like, oh, no, but I can't do that. That sounds really beautiful, but oh, no, that's really scary, right? And so I resisted it, just like I resisted quitting my job for 3 months before I actually did it, just like I resisted being a business coach before I actually did it. Every brilliant idea scared the fuck out of me, and that needs to be a lesson to all of you. You gotta learn how to live in the uncertainty. If you get a download that says, I'm gonna run a webinar, or I'm gonna run a training, or I'm gonna go reach out to, 4 different brick and mortar stores to try to collaborate and sell my stuff, like whatever it is, you get the idea, but then we automatically judge it. And I have clients, it's so funny, I have clients who come to me and they go, I have this idea, what do you think about it? I was thinking of doing this, what do you think about it? And I always ask them, why does what I think matter, right? You got that idea, that's beautiful, why are you not running with it? And we don't run with ideas because we don't trust our intuition, because we're not confident in our leadership. And when you're not confident in your leadership, you don't know how to get the idea and run. You get the idea, you sit, you obsess, you contemplate, you think about it, you overanalyze, whatever. And so what got us to the $80,000 months was to move as quickly as we possibly could to make as many mistakes as possible. Because the more we took action, the more we could figure out what worked and what didn't. Right? I would literally receive a strategy and go, okay, I'm going to try this. Let's see if it works. Doesn't work? Okay, let me try something else. Does that work? Yeah, a little bit, sorta. Let me change this and make it work a little bit better, right? And that's what I kept doing over and over and over again. It's simple. It's not complicated. But we look outside of ourselves because we don't think we have all the answers. And we often say, what am I doing wrong? What don't I have that I should have, right? What's holding me back? What am I supposed to be doing that I'm not doing, right? But are you doing the right things right now? Are you letting your soul guide you to take specific action that feels crazy and overwhelming? Or are you just playing it safe, trying to look for the right thing, right? Fail as many times as possible. So when we started to show up this way, or when I started to show up this way, I had to change my relationship with failure, and I needed to come up with a new approach and a new way of looking at that value. Because when we talk about this, I go through this in Six Figure Biz Babe, you're towards values and you're away from values. There are many people who are constantly moving away from failure. Failure is their greatest fear. I am so afraid of failure. Well, if you're afraid of failure, how do you think that affects how you show up? If I'm afraid of failure, am I a person who takes a lot of action? No. If I'm afraid of failure, am I a person who puts myself out there? No. If I'm afraid of failure, am I a person who gets an idea and just runs with it and has fun? Is somebody who's afraid of failure having a lot of fun in their business or very little amounts of fun? When I was petrified of failure, I resisted any opportunity to create success. When I loved failure and I embraced it, I was able to grow so fucking fast because I wasn't afraid of the unknown, right? Teresa says Lauren is going off. I'm on fucking fire, you guys, because here's the thing, if you're obsessed with looking for the right solution, but you do it in a way that is derogatory or pushing you down or judging yourself or being hard on you, where is the fucking fun in that, right? A great example. Ready? You guys want to hear my most recent failure? Just to show you, right? Because I love failure. I'm going to celebrate it with you. Six Figure Biz Babe, we wanted to take 100 people this round. I set the goal for 150 because I was just feeling a little adventurous, right? We had 100 people last time, so this time I was like, yeah, we could do 100 people again, no problem. And around the end of cart, because we have 10 spots left, right? I was feeling like, you know what, I want this to go faster, right? I'm sick of waiting. I was that's the trick. We're always impatient. We want things to happen right now. So I was like, okay, cool. What can I do that would add value? Because I'm asking these questions for my strategy, right? What can I do to add value to connect and grow my audience and to heighten my chances of people saying yes, right? What do I have to show up to give in order to receive that, right? I'm always asking that question. What do I have to give in order to receive? And so when I came up with this idea, I was like, oh, fuck, Lauren, take your 4 secrets and do a webinar on that, because 4 secrets is part of Six Figure Biz Babe. And if you do this webinar where you share the 4 secrets, people will be like, yes, I need to sign up. And I set this goal. It was so funny. I did this yesterday. I was like, okay, webinar's going to happen. We're going to get 20 signups after the webinar, right? That was in my brain. I'm like, we're going to get 20 people. It's going to be awesome, right? I did the webinar. It was amazing. It was the best webinar I've ever done. Poured my heart into it. I had so much fun. Guess how many people signed up? Guess how many people signed up for Six Figure Biz Babe after that? Can you guess? You guys gotta guess. How many people do you think signed up for Six Figure Biz Babe after my 4 secrets to 6 figures webinar? I'll just tell you because nobody wants to offend me. 0. 0. 0 people signed up after the webinar. Why? Because I designed the webinar and I promoted it to people who signed up for Six Figure Biz Babe already. So I was running this webinar and I had 150 people on, and I asked them while I was going live, I was like, put in the comments if you've enrolled in Six Figure Biz Babe. And I was like, yes. Everybody had already enrolled. So I was running this webinar where I literally spent 6 hours creating this. I poured my heart into it. I did all the things right. It was jam-packed with value and emotion and power, and on paper, I did everything right, but I made the mistake of only promoting the webinar to hot leads or people who had already purchased. So when I asked that question on the webinar, I was like, oh fuck, all these bitches, all these amazing women who are on here and some bros already purchased the six-figure biz babe. So like, what the fuck am I doing, right? And so it was such a lesson. And I could have looked at that and been like, oh yeah, I fucked up. I failed, right? I didn't succeed. But instead I was like, man, that was so fucking fun. I got to show up and help on a deeper level 150 amazing people. It was so fun. I had a blast, right? And like, this is the thing, like if you spend all of your time trying to achieve something to give you permission to feel joy, to give you permission to feel successful, you will spend the rest of your goddamn life trying to chase that feeling and it will never come. So like I chose to look at this webinar that had the intention of selling out six-figure biz babe. I chose to look at it as a great success even though 0 people bought the program after the webinar. Because I had an amazing time and I got to help 150 more people, even more than that because 500 people signed up for it, right? So they got the replay link. But like, this is the thing, fail upwards. So now when I show up every day, I ask myself, what can I do to fail? What can I do to take a risk today? What can I do to try something different that maybe doesn't make sense on paper or maybe is a crazy idea or maybe I haven't done it before, right? I want to fail upwards. And the more you fail, the quicker you go to that next step because now I know, okay, the webinar was amazing. The feedback was incredible. I just need to make sure that I get different people enrolled in it. So now how do I do that? So I'm getting closer and closer to getting to a solution in my strategy because I'm recognizing with critical thinking what works and what doesn't. And I'm changing my approach slowly and steadily every single step of the way. Now, like I'm telling you guys, strategy is one of these pieces and leadership is the other. So when I felt like, you know, when I was trying all the things and wasn't working, I know many of you guys might feel that way, right? You're like, I'm trying everything, I'm trying to get clients, I'm trying to grow my audience, it's just not working, right? Okay, when you're in that space, slow down your thought process and identify, how do I truly feel about myself? Because when people buy a product from you, they are not buying a product, my dear. They're buying you. They're buying you. And if you don't feel beautiful, if you don't feel like a leader, if you don't feel worthy, if you don't feel confident, if you don't feel certain, if you don't feel special, if you don't feel successful, why would anybody buy from you? Why would anybody trust you? Because when someone gives you money, that's what they're saying. They're saying, I trust you. Do you trust yourself? If you don't trust yourself, why? What's stopping you? So for me, when I was trying to be a coach and I was scared, right? I was trying to grow a business and I was resisting money left and right and I was trying, but it wasn't working. I asked myself finally, I was like, what here is holding me back? And when I got really fucking honest with myself, which I'm telling you guys, 95% of my clients that are obsessed with strategy are obsessed with strategy because they refuse to look at themselves. And when I finally looked at myself, I realized I didn't feel confident leading people because I wasn't really leading my own life. How could I tell somebody to go take action and create the life they desire and be completely successful and have everything they want? How could I be a role model for that when I wasn't trusting myself to take action around my intuition, right? And when I sat down, I was like, okay, well, why am I afraid of leading people? What is really holding me back here? I was like, you know what? I don't know how to lead people. I don't know. And that's when I realized, how could I expect people to hire me as a coach when I wasn't investing in myself at all? I was just trying to make money. I had never bought a program. I had never hired a coach. I had never done anything of value to say, hey, I love myself so much that I'm going to grow my heart. I'm going to grow my mindset. Here's money. I'm going to do it. I never did that before. And the minute I did that, everything changed. Because the minute I did that, I decided I was worthy. And when I'm worthy, I can teach other people how to be worthy of their desires as well. So regardless of what you're selling, it's a desire, right? Like if I was on the street corner and I was selling this rock, right? This is a third eye, right? I was selling this. Let's just talk about this being the product. If I was a homeless woman and I was, struggling and I wasn't happy and I wasn't smiling and I was just like, buy this rock, bitch, right? Buy this. The only people that would buy this rock are the people that felt bad for me. Yes, the I. The only people that would buy this would be people who felt bad. And there I am begging for it, insecure, not feeling good enough, struggling to get by, expressing that clearly, having people pick up on it, and maybe a couple of people will do me a favor, right? Now, what if I am a spiritual goddess on a hill and I am talking on my social media platforms all the time about my meditative practice and spirituality and Zen living, right? And I share pictures of my Zen den and my prayers and my oils, and I'm creating this life that people aspire to have. What if I become that woman and I love my body and I love myself and I feel really confident and beautiful and successful, and here I am just sharing with the world that in my meditative practice I use this rock? How many people are going to buy this? And how many people are going to buy it because they want that energy for themselves? That's sales and leadership. It's a fucking rock. Do you guys see? It's a rock. That's all it is. But to somebody who purchases this, it's a taste of that energy. It's a taste of that lifestyle. It's a taste of that version of themselves that they want to be. So regardless, it could be a rock, it could be essential oils, it could be CBD products, it could be a candle, a crystal, a coaching program, an e-guide, a course, a real estate package. It doesn't matter, right? What are you representing? Because when I hire a photographer, I want someone who I look at and go, she looks fucking cool, right? Lindsay was on the line before, my photographer. I didn't hire her just because she was available. I hired her because I went on her website and there was a picture of her skydiving. And I was like, oh, this bitch is fucking cool. She looks beautiful. I want to feel beautiful. Let me buy a package with her, right? So like, this is the energy here, right? It's not about the product. It's about who you are. And when we don't work on ourselves, we repel any opportunity to receive. This is why, like, when I started, I started trying to coach people, but I was overweight. I was 60 pounds heavier than I am now. I didn't like my body. I didn't like to be photographed. I constantly did like face selfies for Instagram. I was not letting people fully see me, right? I did not let anybody fully see me. And when I don't let people fully see me, I am not giving somebody permission to fully see themselves, to be fully connected to the desire they have to invest, no matter what it is I'm selling. And so now I'm here. I'm like, yo, bitch, what up? I'm here. And I'm present and I'm centered and I'm clear and I'm aware and I am ready to serve. And I don't flinch at the thought of somebody seeing me because I love who I am. I've done the work with my leadership. I've done the work with my confidence. I've been able to do that. And all of you guys can do that too. So look at your shit, right? Lesson being, really look at your shit. You got to feel worthy of receiving money. If you don't feel good enough in your life, you won't feel worthy of receiving money. Case in point. Finally, here's the other piece. We need to find expanders, right? This was a big one last night on the webinar when I was talking to you guys, this idea of finding an expander and like, what the fuck does that even mean? An expander is somebody in your energetic space, either that you know or that you know of or that you're connected with, who is doing something that you want to do. Time and time again, this has transformed my life. I looked at people like Jenna Kutcher and Amy Porterfield and Lauren Everts and the Beautiful Mess Girls. I looked at people all the time who were like successful in the online space doing what they loved. And I looked at that and I was like, okay, I see it, but it feels really unattainable for me. Like, I get it. Cool, it's possible, but it doesn't really feel possible for me. I literally, at the time when I started my business, I had nobody in my life that was ever wealthy. I did not understand what wealth was. I had no conception of prosperity and abundance and financial freedom. I was just like, I want to pay my bills. That was it, right? So what I had to do, and I didn't know this at the time, but it was like I needed to find expanders. And expanders are people who are doing what you're doing, but then you connect into their energy. And you do this in a very, very simple way or a very complex way. It doesn't matter, right? But at the end of the day, you need to take somebody that you observe and tap into them. So like when people come into my coaching programs, I'm then their expander and I respond to their messages and I'm showing up on a live group coaching call and they're getting a taste of that on a deeper level than what's free and already available on social media. They decide that I'm going to be their expander. And when I was starting my business, I didn't have expanders and I made a decision. I hired a coach, $60,000 in debt, took out a credit card. I was like, fuck this, I'm going to do it anyway. I hired a coach and that was the very first time I had ever connected with somebody who was wealthy. And I remember being on the phone with him for my discovery call and then getting on our coaching calls and like having him see me and having him love me for who I was. It was like, holy fucking shit, I am good enough. I'm good enough for this man who's so wealthy to receive me. I should be able to show up and serve everybody. And it boosted my confidence. It created certainty. And then back in July, I know you guys have heard my stories. I was the Tony Robbins Platinum Partner, and I went to France. And it was me, Catherine Zankina, and Ian, the owner of Spiritual Gangster, and we're like all sitting at this table, and we're talking about intentions. And we're like, it was beautiful. It was this night on the beach in France, amazing. And I said my intention out loud. I said, I want to have a 6-figure launch, right? And I was waiting to see their reactions, for them to go, okay, maybe start with, maybe 5 figures, right? Like, I was waiting for them to judge it. And when I said it, and Ian was like, that's beautiful, do it. Next month, do it. I could see in his certainty, I could see in his confidence in his response. And I could see Catherine, my dear friend, she's smiling. She's like, yeah, do it. Easy. Totally. And I'm watching this and I'm like, oh my God, this is the first person who did not roll their eyes at my big dreams. This is the first person who's actually telling me, abso-fucking-lutely, you can do that. Oh my God. And so these people, these beautiful gifts in my life, they became expanders, whether it were my friends, now I have gorgeous friends, Jen Casey, Stephanie. These are people who are doing what I want to do, and I get to connect into their energy in all these deeper levels and say, if it's possible for them, it's possible for me. And so the great gift of 6-Figure Biz Babe, which this was unintentional. I've never desired this when I created the program. But the community that you receive, where these women become sisters and they develop deep relationships and they fucking Snapchat each other and have coaching calls together and masterminds way beyond the group coaching experience. I mean, man, it's unbelievable, because when you actually have a support system and you have these expanders in your life who are saying, yes, you can do this. Yes, it's so easy. Obviously, you're going to receive that goal, no doubt. You then believe it's possible for yourself. When it's possible for the people you love, it then becomes possible for you. So, I don't give a shit what you end up doing, whether it's 6-Figure Biz Babe or another coach or hiring a mentor. You need to find expanders. You need to connect into that and decide that you're going to surround yourself with people who get it, who are ready to lift you up, who are ready to support you, who are ready to help guide you. And you need to have that. We all deserve to have that. And that expander energy was what drastically shifted everything for me, in addition to these other elements that we've talked about. So, moral of the story, who I am making $80,000 cash months is not who I was when I was making $8,000 cash months. At $8,000 cash months, I was scared, overwhelmed, stressed. I doubted myself. I didn't think I was good enough. I questioned everything I was doing. I judged how I showed up, how I looked, what I said, how I sounded. Now I'm just like, hi. What's up? It's me. And I don't care. And I think the more we can let go of that need to be something for other people, the more we can actually be in our voice. The more we detach from pleasing and making other people proud and being significant and having people be impressed by us, the more of a difference we make, the more of an impact we have in the world. So, final thing, because I have a message here I need to flag. Oh, Claudia says, your energy is beautiful. I just channeled the name of my next program. Woo! So if you want to join me in Los Angeles for a week, DM me. We have 2 spots left for our retreat. 10 spots left for Six Figure Biz Babe. I love you guys so much. I had such an amazing time showing up for you today. I felt so happy. It was so beautiful to serve you. And I'll talk to you guys all soon. But thank you so much for being here. Love all of you.